Now at 9, a missing person case in Berry County, Missouri turns into a murder investigation. Plus, runners in Joplin prepare for a Thanksgiving Day tradition. And
electric vehicles are charging around tracks and grabbing headlines here at the LA Auto Show, but are consumers still buzzing about them? That story coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A man from Exeter, Missouri is charged with murder and abandonment of a corpse. This is KOAM News at 9. I'm Dow Quick. The Berry County Sheriff's Office says this man, Aaron Malone, called 911 and reported the possible abduction of Aspen Lewis. Surveillance video from a neighbor's Ring camera shows Malone arriving and leaving the home with screaming captured while he was there. Deputies say they found blood on the road and on Malone's truck. Investigators say Malone eventually admitted to fighting with Lewis and disposing of her body. He took deputies to Lewis's body in a wooded area in Shell Knob. Lewis's family says she and Malone have been dating but have been together less than a year.
When it happened on Sunday night into Monday morning, people heard screaming, people heard gunshots, people heard things, seen things, and did absolutely nothing about it because it's a small town.
We have had prior calls at that residence for domestic violence, and we're pulling those calls now to see exactly how many we did have. But yes, we have had prior calls with these 2 individuals.
Autopsy results have not yet been publicly released. Malone is scheduled to be in court next week. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty for a first look at the weather.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a dreary one today for travelers. And of course, we have more travelers on the roads tomorrow. First off, let's look at today. 50 for a high, started at 40, below that average high of 54 degrees. Now, the winds have picked up a bit through the afternoon and the evening hours, and it's going to stay kind of breezy as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. Rain's going to start to push out of here, but we may get a little bit of drizzle southwestern Missouri if you are hitting the roads early in the morning. And look at our temps, upper 20. So if any drizzle can form in southwestern Missouri, it could be a little bit of freezing drizzle. Wouldn't last long, and temperatures are going to go above freezing pretty quickly. Let's go to the noon hour. Looking pretty good. It's just chilly, upper 30s across the region. And I made this wider map so you can see travel across the whole area. And then high temps only into the lower 40s. What about the rest of the holiday weekend? We'll look at that here in a bit.
See you soon. On your marks, get set. It's nearly go time. The Starlit Running Company invited runners out to Pennington Station today to pick up early packets for the Joplin Turkey Trot. The Joplin tradition invites families to come out on Thanksgiving Day for a 5K run walk in downtown Joplin. Participants will receive an event shirt and an amazing finisher medal. They can also expect a DJ, Krispy Kreme donuts, and bearded lady coffee. Race organizers expect a big turnout for the race. They also expect families to have a lot of fun.
1,500 participants this year, and this is an amazing family-friendly event. People come out. It says 5K. We do have a 1 mile participants. It's family friendly, and we raise money from this. We make a donation to the Joplin Trails Coalition.
Late packet pickups will still be available on race day tomorrow, starting at 6:30 in the morning. The 1 mile race starts at 7:30 a.m. The 5K starts at 8 a.m., beginning and ending in front of City Hall. The Main Street course will be closed to traffic from 2nd to 7th Street. The Murphy-Landreth Loop will also be closed to traffic. This is the 13th year for the Joplin Turkey Trot race.
You don't often
A challenge for KOAM takes place next week, but the gloves might not be coming off for this one exactly. KOAM and Fox 14 are teaming up with KSN and KODE to help raise money for the Salvation Army. The Media Bell Challenge takes place December 5th at the 7th Street Walmart in Joplin from 10 in the morning until 7:30 that night. Proceeds will go to the Salvation Army. Please stop by and donate to help those in need this holiday season. We'll see you there. Coming up, lingering impacts of the pandemic.
It's been more than 4 years since the pandemic began, but people seeking a new life in America are still required to get a COVID vaccine. I'm Mark Meredith in Washington. We'll take a closer look at why the government thinks that may be necessary.
It's the thrill of the Honda.
Tomorrow and throughout the holidays, people might be eating more desserts and sugary foods, which can increase the risk of cavities. KOIM's Melissa Alexis spoke to a local dentist about how to maintain dental health during the holidays.
Pittsburgh dentist Rob Heron says during this time of year, there's an increased risk of developing a cavity.
We pretty much call this time of year the cavity season. Starts Halloween, October 31st, and runs pretty much through New Year's.
Desserts like apple and pumpkin pies are holiday favorites, but Dr. Heron says sugar can be a culprit of cavities.
Kids and adults need to be really careful about their intake of the chewy, sticky, gooey sugar.
He encourages people to find time during the holiday festivities to brush their teeth twice a day, remember to floss daily, and don't neglect your scheduled cleanings.
In the grooves of the teeth, that comes from sticky, chewy, sweet, sugary items like candy, Skittles, things along those lines. Kids, they just really need to brush most of the time, keep that brushing up, keep those grooves clean, and then adults need to make sure that they're flossing between their teeth.
He says the best way for parents to encourage dental health in their children is leading by example.
When parents show their kids what they do, so the parents are brushing twice a day, rinsing, taking care of their teeth, flossing, then the kids tend to follow along and habits become habits and they follow their parents.
But he doesn't think people should completely deprive themselves of their favorite holiday desserts.
You have some sugar, but how you treat that, you don't overindulge.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
According to the Mayo Clinic, tooth decay can lead to tooth infections and even tooth loss. The pandemic might be over, but the vaccine mandate that came in response to it is still in place. And it has some who want to be American citizens facing a tough choice. Fox's Mark Meredith talked to one couple who ran into a roadblock with the U.S. government and has put off plans to live in the U.S.
I hereby declare on oath.
People seeking American citizenship face many hurdles, but some green card applicants say these days there's a double standard, as the government mandates aspiring Americans receive a COVID-19 vaccine, even as illegal migrants reach the U.S. without any proof of vaccination.
It said that I needed to be vaccinated against COVID-19, which I objected due to my faith.
Nick Brutowski, an Australian, is among those outraged. He was seeking American citizenship to live with his wife, Hannah.
I'm not an anti-vaxxer. No, I just opposed to the ones that conflict with my strong religious beliefs.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention decides which vaccines are required for citizenship. The list includes mumps, polio, and tetanus, and yes, the coronavirus. Now, some argue the incoming Trump administration should change the rules.
Trump on day one could have his people sign an internal memorandum to remove the vaccine requirement.
In late 2021, President Biden mandated federal workers, contractors, and international travelers be vaccinated.
The administration clearly has the authority to protect workers, and actions announced by the president are designed to save lives and stop spread of COVID.
But critics almost instantly challenged the mandate's legality. The administration dropped it in May 2023, writing, "We are now in a different phase of our response when these measures are no longer necessary." But for the Brutowskis, the lingering rules have created chaos and tough choices. They've paused plans to live in the U.S.
Yeah, that's how I feel like I've been persecuted.
It's unclear how many people have either been denied or dropped plans for U.S. citizenship based on these requirements. Congress has considered but failed to pass legislation to drop the vaccine requirement. In Washington, Mark Meredith, Fox News.
Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast, and later families, friends, and some pretty good bowlers head out to the Grace Lanes in Carthage to let the good times roll.
An Olympian teaches children.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a dreary one for us today. It's going to stay dreary for the rest of the night with some light showers and drizzle pushing through the region. Weather conditions will improve as we get into the daytime hours tomorrow, but it's windy too. Look at the flags blowing out of the northwest across the region. We have been dealing with some light showers, light drizzle, which has been pushing through. This wave is quickly pushing off toward the east and exiting the region. But if we go through the rest of the overnight hours, let's stop at about 11 p.m. Still a lot of clouds, southwestern Missouri, Clearing out a bit, Kansas and Oklahoma temperatures into the upper 30s. But we got to watch and see if a little drizzle can develop. Southwestern Missouri, if it does, could have a brief period of freezing drizzle. It's not that big of a deal, just something we want to keep our eyes on as we go through the night. Cold night too. We're going to drop back into the upper 20s by tomorrow morning. The winds are still kicking in, north-northwest 10 to 15, but of course we've had gusts that have been higher than that, gusts at times near 20 miles per hour. Now by morning, still very breezy, but the winds calm down as we work through the daytime hours on your Thanksgiving, which is definitely good news. All right, so let's go into the next couple days. So of course we have the cold start in the morning. Let's go to the noon hour. Partly sunny skies, still chilly, anywhere from 37 Nevada to 41 at Grand Lake. And then afternoon highs, I think most of us 41 or 42 degrees. A little bit warmer once you get out across Kansas and also Oklahoma. Cold night, Thursday night. So if you're doing some Black Friday shopping early, bundle up. Look at these lows, down into lower 20s, still partly sunny skies on Friday. Not much improvement, high temp 43, 44 degrees. Let's go into late Friday night and Saturday morning. Here's our next wave. This is mainly going to stay to our north, but again, if you're doing some traveling on Saturday, especially north, this should drop a band of light snow, but even our northern counties may get a light wintry mix early Saturday morning. This kind of pushes into central Missouri, so still our northern counties picking up a few little sprinkles or a few showers, but mainly this wave is going to stay north of the region. By Saturday afternoon, still kind of cold, highs into the 40s. Let's go into your Sunday, still high temps, only into lower 40s, so it stays kind of chilly as we go through the next few days. On Thanksgiving, 28th start, 36 by noon, high temp 42. Let's look at your Black Friday. 24 in the morning, highs into lower 40s as we get into the afternoon hours. So it is going to be cold the next couple days. 44 Friday, near 50 on Saturday, back down to 45s Sunday and Monday. And then we see a warm up, 50s, 60s return by Wednesday and Thursday. Not much rain in the forecast, but it is going to be chilly. Dow.
Doug, thanks. Coming up, digging into the cost of Thanksgiving.
Your Thanksgiving spread is going to cost less than last year, but you're still going to have to dig deep for some items. I'm Madison Allworth in Princeton Junction, New Jersey. I'll give you the price breakdown and what's going to cost you the most after this.
Tickets on sale now.
Well, a lot of us are going to enjoy a Thanksgiving feast tomorrow. While Americans saw the price of many holiday staples fall this year versus last year, prices are still higher than they were 5 years ago. So what will a Thanksgiving feast run you in 2024? Well, Fox Business correspondent Madison Allworth is in a kitchen in Princeton, New Jersey with more.
Happy Thanksgiving. Your spread this year is going to cost less than last year. You're looking at around $58 to feed your family, which is down from last year. But as you can see, it's still about $10 more than it was 5 years ago. So let's take a look at the spread on the table to see what's hitting your wallet. You can't have Thanksgiving without your Thanksgiving turkey. So compared to last year, the cost is down 6% year over year. But over the last 5 years, the cost of a turkey has gone up 23%. And that's something you just can't avoid, because what's a Thanksgiving dinner without your turkey? But I want to give you something to be thankful for, and that is my favorite side, mashed potatoes. Potatoes are down year over year, 26% in cost. They're down so much that potatoes today are actually cheaper than they were 5 years ago. So no excuse, mashed potatoes for everyone. Gonna go from really good news to not so good news. The most inflationary piece on this table is your stuffing. Year over year, that's up 8%. And since 2019, the cost is actually up 52%. And after you're done enjoying an incredible spread like this, I like to enjoy dessert. So we got some pumpkin pie here. Year over year, the price is down 6%, but since 2019, it's up 25%. And your Thanksgiving meal is going to cost differently depending on where you are. Your most expensive Thanksgiving meal is going to be out west. You're going to be paying over $67 to feed your family, and your best deal is in the south. You're looking at just under $57. But no matter where you're celebrating this Thanksgiving, I hope you're able to enjoy a wonderful time with friends and family. In Princeton Junction, I'm Madison Allworth, Fox Business. Happy Thanksgiving.
The LA Auto Show is buzzing with electric vehicles like Buzz, a reinvention of Volkswagen's iconic microbus. The flashy ride is turning heads, but with a price tag starting at $60,000, EV affordability remains a concern for many. Softening EV sales and charging infrastructure challenges have raised questions about the industry's future, especially as policy debates heat up. But with California's push for zero-emission vehicles by 2035, manufacturers like Hyundai are charging ahead, debuting models that don't need to run on gasoline for fuel. A familiar face is heading back to the big screen. We're going to have the latest on Ben Stiller's starring role when we come back.
Every Casey special news service.
Ben Stiller leads the new Hulu holiday family comedy Nutcrackers. The film marks Stiller's first leading role in 7 years and is a step in a new direction for filmmaker David Gordon Green. Here's Fox's Anna Eliopoulos with the story.
Hey dudes, it's Uncle Michael. Remember me?
Ben Stiller takes on his first leading role in 7 years, starring in David Gordon Green's holiday family comedy, Nutcrackers. He plays a real estate developer who becomes the guardian to his rambunctious nephews after their parents die.
It just felt so organic and so not cynical. You know, he wanted to make a heartwarming, kind of old school comedy, the kind that we kind of remember from, years ago.
We'll take it from here. It was kind of the movies that I just loved going to on the matinees, going to see Uncle Buck and Home Alone and so many of the movies of my childhood in the 80s and early 90s that influenced this particular movie. This is my first family movie. This is my first happy ending movie. This is the first movie I made that my kids can see.
Green is best known for his horror films, which include the Halloween trilogy and The Exorcist Believer. The filmmaker was happy to step away from the genre to make his first Christmas movie.
It was a palate cleanser in a lot of ways to be able to do something light and lighthearted and strip it all down to something that was leaning into the charms rather than the horrors.
The film marks the first acting role for real-life brothers Homer, Ulysses, and twins Atlas and Arlo Jansen, who play Stiller's on-screen nephews.
The first day we ever met him, we became friends with him. And it was crazy how we got to have that little surprise.
Everybody was just so loving and excited to be there in that place when we were shooting.
This experience for them was new. They'd never been in front of cameras doing this, but they also were totally open to whatever was going to happen.
Anna Eliopoulos, Fox News.
30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Experts expect more than 70 million people will hit the road for the holiday weekend. We're going to look at the cost of holiday travel. And a ceasefire appears to hold on the first day. We're going to have the latest on a halt to fighting between Israel and Hezbollah.
Bang Theory today.
You're watching the 4 States Most Watched News.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. It's the busiest travel day of the year. 80 million people headed out by road and air to visit friends and family for Thanksgiving. Fox Business correspondent Jeff Flock is driving on Interstate 76 in Philadelphia.
Well, I was driving. We're now more like crawling through downtown Philadelphia as we traverse and head maybe down to the Jersey Shore. This is Interstate 76. Yeah, you get some breaks and then it goes a little faster and then a little slower, but expect it to be slow because take a look at these numbers. All-time record, 70 million plus people on the roads at some point over the Thanksgiving holiday. And that's in addition to another 6 million or so in the air and a couple more million cruising and going on buses and trains. Yeah, we're definitely traveling again. The economy may not be the very best, but got to get there for Thanksgiving. If you do have to be on the roads, good news is that it's not going to cost you as much for gas, at least compared to last year this time. $3.07 now the national average for a gallon of regular. That's, it's up about a penny in the last week, but it's down from last month, and it's about 20 cents cheaper than it was this time last year. It is those low gasoline prices and reasonably high airline prices and demand that the AAA says may make a deal for driving. Listen.
A lot of people, if they want to avoid flying, because ticket prices tend to be pricey over Thanksgiving, especially if everybody's trying to leave around the same time and come back the same time, most people opt to drive. So those road trip records are also high.
And just to give you a sense of how busy this year is in terms of travel, we always measure since pre-pandemic because that really gives us a better clue. Driving on Thanksgiving up about almost 2%. Compared to pre-pandemic record levels. Flying up about 10%. And if you're cruising or taking a bus or maybe a train, that's up 18%, 18+%. So yeah, there's a lot of ways to go, and apparently we're all going. Those of us on the roads, though, may not be going quite as rapidly as we would like. Traveling through Philadelphia on Interstate 76, I'm Jeff Flock with the Fox Business Network.
A ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah appeared to hold today as Lebanese troops began moving to southern Lebanon. It comes as the Biden administration renews its diplomatic push for an end to the fighting in Gaza. Fox News correspondent Alex Hogan has more.
After months of fighting, it's quiet at Israel's northern border. The beginning of a 60-day ceasefire has set the stage for the IDF to withdraw from southern Lebanon and for the Lebanese military to move in and patrol the area alongside UN peacekeepers. On Wednesday, thousands of displaced people began making their way home, despite Israeli warnings to avoid the border region where troops are still deployed. Some returned to find nothing left.
Think twice if it's worth coming back. I think that we have lost this strip of land.
President Biden says the U.S. brokered agreement is intended to be permanent, but NATO's leader is urging realistic expectations.
Let's not be naive. Hezbollah is still there. Iran is still backing Hezbollah.
And Israeli officials say they will not hesitate to strike back if Hezbollah violates the deal.
If it tries to rebuild terrorist infrastructure near our border, we will defend ourselves.
The focus now shifts to Gaza, where Hamas indicated Wednesday it is ready for a truce. The White House says it hopes Israel's deal with Hezbollah will force Hamas to the negotiating table.
Hezbollah linked its fight against Israel to the fight that Hamas was having with Israel from Gaza. That link has now been broken, which means Hamas is isolated.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the ceasefire in Lebanon is also an opportunity to focus on Iran and regroup Israeli forces. In Tel Aviv, Israel, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
A bit later, the Gorillas take on the Arkansas Tech Golden Suns as basketball season gets underway. Brock Baldridge has highlights coming up in sports.
The arts.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a dreary one for us today. It's going to stay dreary for the rest of the night with some light showers and drizzle pushing through the region. Weather conditions will improve as we get into the daytime hours tomorrow, but it's windy too. Look at the flags blowing out of the northwest across the region. We have been dealing with some light showers, light drizzle, which has been pushing through. This wave is quickly pushing off toward the east and exiting the region. But if we go through the rest of the overnight hours, let's stop at about 11 p.m. Still a lot of clouds, southwestern Missouri, clearing out a bit, Kansas and Oklahoma temperatures into the upper 30s. But we got to watch and see if a little drizzle can develop southwestern Missouri. If it does, could have a brief period of freezing drizzle. It's not that big of a deal, just something we want to keep our eyes on as we go through the night. Cold night too. We're going to drop back into the upper 20s by tomorrow morning. The winds are still kicking in northwest 10 to 15, but of course we've had gusts that have been higher than that. Gusts at times near 20 miles per hour. Now by morning, still very breezy, but the winds calm down as we work through the daytime hours on your Thanksgiving, which is definitely good news. All right, so let's go into the next couple days. So, of course, we have the cold start in the morning. Let's go to the noon hour. Partly sunny skies, still chilly, anywhere from 37 Nevada to 41 at Grand Lake. And then afternoon highs, I think most of us 41 or 42 degrees. A little bit warmer once you get out across Kansas and also Oklahoma. Cold night. Thursday night. So if you're doing some Black Friday shopping early, bundle up. Look at these lows. Down into the lower 20s. Still partly sunny skies on Friday. Not much improvement. High temp 43, 44 degrees. Let's go into late Friday night and Saturday morning. Here's our next wave. This is mainly going to stay to our north. But again, if you're doing some traveling on Saturday, especially north, this should drop a band of light snow. But even our northern counties may get a light wintry mix early Saturday morning. This kind of pushes into central Missouri, so still our northern counties picking up a few little sprinkles or a few showers, but mainly this wave is going to stay north of the region. By Saturday afternoon, still kind of cold, highs into the 40s. Let's go into your Sunday, still high temps, only into lower 40s, so it stays kind of chilly as we go through the next few days. On Thanksgiving, 28 start, 36 by noon, high temp 42. Let's look at your Black Friday. 24 in the morning, highs into lower 40s as we get into the afternoon hours. So it is going to be cold the next couple days. 44 Friday, near 50 on Saturday, back down to 45s Sunday and Monday. And then we see a warm up, 50s, 60s return by Wednesday and Thursday. Not much rain in the forecast, but it is going to be chilly. Dow.
Doug, thanks. Grace Lanes in Carthage, Missouri hosted a family fun bowling night. The Thanksgiving Eve event tonight welcomed special needs children and their families to enjoy the snack bar, ice cream shop, arcade, as well as multiple lanes of bowling. Organizers say events like this mean a lot to them.
We're blessed to have special needs in our family, so we know some of the difficulties it is at times to go out to special events. Sometimes it's just, people don't understand when kids kind of throw a fit or something, and it's easier to come here where it's laid back and a lot easier to go along with everything.
The Special Needs Bowling Night event was hosted by the Smith family. Coming up in sports, Missouri Southern women's basketball wraps up their final game in Puerto Rico. Plus, highlights from both Pitt State men's and women's basketball. Brock Baldridge has that and more.
On board the model train show in Smokehouse.
Pitt State women's basketball has been red hot to begin this year. The Gorillas have won 5 straight after losing their season opening contest. Meanwhile, the men's basketball team plays in their home opener this afternoon. Let's start with the women's team first. Pitt State at home hosting the Arkansas Tech Golden Suns. Early in the first quarter, Macy Mays finds some space in the paint. Left-handed layup here is good. Then Mays continues to attack the basket. She gets yet another layup. She led the Gorillas with 17 points on the afternoon. Still in the first half, Harper Schreiner drives hard into the lane. She hits the deck right here pretty hard, but count the bucket and the foul. She would get back up, and her teammates and the crowd all fired up. Pitt State takes a 3-point lead heading to halftime, so we go to the second half. Nice ball movement here as Hannah Nilgis is money at the top of the key. And then Grace Pyle starts to get involved. She gets the running layup right here for 2 points. And then Arkansas Tech gets a little bit lazy on defense, and they leave Pyle wide open. Here's why you can't do that, because this is why. She drains another 3-pointer. Pitt State goes on to win its 6th straight game. Gorillas beat Arkansas Tech 75-55.
We wanted to be battle tested. This is an experienced group, and so we knew we needed to play a tougher schedule and get ourselves ready. So I think everybody's going to be, having a target on us just with records. They're going to see that we have a good record and be coming after us. And we're not really doing anything different. I think it's just that the girls are maybe playing with a little more patience.
It's the home opener for the Pitt State men's basketball team as the Gorillas take the floor facing Arkansas Tech. We start things off with Daryl Washington, who works down low. Nice little spin move here to the basket. Gives the Gorillas their first points of the day. Then a little pick and roll action here as Washington gets to the basket once again, plus the foul. We finish with 7 points and 3 boards for PSU. We continue on in the first half. The Gorillas find a way to get the rock to Avery Taggart. The Missouri Southern transfer is fitting in nicely with his new home. And just before halftime, Pitt State starts to fire away. Tanner Manns drains the corner from 3. And then R.J. Forney in transition puts this one through. And that same corner stays hot as the freshman David Coben hits this one from downtown. 3 straight threes from that same corner to close out the first half. Pitt State goes on to win their first home game of the year. Gorillas win 72-64. Missouri Southern women's basketball is playing internationally. The Lions defeat Interamericana de Puerto Rico. 68-32 the final score there. Southern won both of their games in Puerto Rico. Ava Potts and McKinley Oakley each scored in double figures for MSSU. Well, there's still a month away until most of Division I college basketball games begin conference play. Both OU and Mizzou men's basketball have games this evening. Oklahoma is in the Bahamas tonight. OU begins the opening round of the Battle for Atlantis. The Sooners taking on Providence. OU wins this one close, 79-77. The Sooners will advance to the winner's side of the bracket. They will play Arizona tomorrow afternoon. More SEC basketball taking place in Mizzou Arena tonight. Missouri Tigers face former MIAA conference member Lindenwood. Mizzou wins this one with ease as the Tigers take care of business with an 81-61 victory. Well, the last time the Kansas City Chiefs played against the Las Vegas Raiders in Arrowhead, it was a Christmas Day debacle. Fast forward to 2024, the two teams meet on Black Friday, which brings us to another edition of Minute with Mitch.
This all really started in 2021 when the NFL went to a 17-game regular season. In addition, the NFL added an extra team to the playoffs. That meant there would be only one team to receive a bye in both conferences for the postseason. So what started? The fact that every game seems like a playoff game for the Chiefs, no matter the opponent, no matter the opponent's record. And that was apparent last Sunday at Carolina with the walk-off field goal. And this Thanksgiving weekend, it's the Raiders. Win by 1, win by 90. They all count. Yeah, there's areas for improvement. Andy Reid has stated as such. But winning every game is the main thing. If you're the Chiefs, chasing the one bye and the one seed and chasing history on this Minute with Mitch. The Minute with Mitch is brought to you by Como Jewelry in Joplin and Pittsburgh.
You know, it's amazing that the Chiefs, every year they seem to be playing on a bigger national television game.
Yeah.
And whether it's Christmas Day, now they're playing on Black Friday, standalone game. I mean, 10 years ago, none of us thought that would be possible.
It's crazy. They're playing on every day of the week this year,
For Tuesday. Except for Tuesday. So 6 days of the week, that's a lot of football to play.
And we, Chiefs fans are spoiled, aren't we? They're 10-1. They win a game by only a point, and we're worried. Oh, well, they have a lot of nail biters. We'll be right back. A popular horror sequel gets a behind-the-scenes documentary, and Vanderpump Rules recruits a new generation of servers. Fox's Anna Eliopoulos has the latest in the Hollywood Nation.
How can you be sure it was really him?
Terrifier 3 takes fans behind the scenes, Sheeran drops new music, and Vanderpump reboots in the Hollywood Nation.
All the doors are open for you.
Vanderpump Rules is coming back for more drama with an all-new cast. Bravo announced the Emmy-nominated reality series has been renewed for a 12th season, featuring Lisa Vanderpump with a new generation of close-knit servers. Production is set to start next year. The cast and a premiere date will be revealed at a later date. Ed Sheeran offers fans a new song to add to their holiday music rotation. The Grammy-winning artist released the Christmas track, Under the Tree, as well as the music video, which features Sheeran starring alongside Bridgerton actress Claudia Jessie. He co-wrote the ballad for the animated film That Christmas, premiering on Netflix December 4th.
Who's this Santa?
Horror fans will get a closer look at the record-breaking Christmas slasher Terrifier 3. Cineverse will release the making-of documentary Art Attack, The Dissection of Terrifier 3, which will explore how the various violent kills and bloody effects were brought to life in the sequel. It will feature interviews from the film's director and cast, as well as never-before-seen footage from the set. It will be available to stream only on Screambox in early 2025. Anna Eliopoulos, Fox News.
Coming up, those who help the community need some help from the community.
The Salvation Army is in need of volunteers. I'm Lonnie Walton in Joplin. I spoke to leaders and they say the work is plentiful, but they need a few more hands. Stick around, I'll give you some information on how you can get involved.
In 2023, nearly 76 million people in the U.S. formally volunteered their time to various organizations. Missouri is ranked 9th in the nation for volunteering. However, some organizations still need help. KOIM's Lonnie Walton has more.
We are always needing volunteers. This is our busiest time of year right now with our Christmas season.
Nathan Hicks is the EVS and volunteer coordinator at the Salvation Army in Joplin. He says they could use a few more helping hands.
Everything helps. Every group, every volunteer, every family.
And one of the things the Salvation Army hopes to find is bell ringers.
We're doing our campaign for our kettles. Our kettles are what bring in the money for our next coming year.
And it's so important, he's inviting everyone.
So whether it's an individual, a family, a church, every little bit helps, and it's always fun at the kettle.
Captain Bill Middendorf is the administrator for the Joplin Salvation Army. He says some of his best volunteers were once helped by the organization.
The best volunteers are the ones that have been helped by the Salvation Army in the past. You know, they know what that money goes to when people are putting it in the kettles.
Another program both Middendorf and Hicks are passionate about is the Angel Tree. The program allows anyone in the community to buy tickets from a Christmas tree and buy what's needed on that ticket.
With just helping out with Christmas gifts, to put that extra little gift under their tree or helping them out through the Christmas season is a little extra just smile on their face.
The more that happens, the less the Salvation Army has to try spending money to purchase toys for the kids.
Volunteer Betty Billings says the program keeps her on her toes, but it's worth it for those in need.
It's just a lot of fun. It's very, very busy, but it makes Christmas for a lot of children and a lot of families.
Reporting in Joplin, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Now, if you want to be a kettlebell worker or just volunteer at the Salvation Army in any capacity, you can reach out to the organization online via text or through Facebook. And that is our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of some otters playing in freshly fallen snow at the Milwaukee County Zoo. Let's make it a great Thanksgiving.